there are some people that are willing to stand on principle, even if they know they're putting themselves in harm's way. And that's why the story with Tucker Carlson is so important, because this is a person who truly is a traitor to his class. He could easily just sit on the sidelines and not involve himself in any way regarding what's going on right now. And so instead, he conducts an interview with Mike Israel Huckabee and ends up getting himself detained at the Ben Gurion airport in Tel Aviv. Tucker Carlson detained in Israel, journalists dragged into interrogation room as explosive interview sparks diplomatic firestorm. And we all know who the real president is. Conservative podcasting titan Tucker Carlson said he and his staff were detained in Israel on Wednesday following an interview with Trump's ambassador to the country. The former Fox News host flew into Tel Aviv for a sit-down with Mike Huckabee, who challenged Carlson to speak to him directly following an online spat about the country's treatment of Christians. Yeah, they're treated terribly. Carlson, who also frequently criticizes Israel for its military actions in Gaza, took Huckabee up on his offer. But as critics and pro-Israel activists began piling on Carlson for purportedly not leaving the airport during his brief visit, he revealed that he was met with hostility in the Middle Eastern West Asia country. Carlson exclusively told the Daily Mail. So he didn't even go to the States with this. He just went to the Daily Mail and said that shortly after the interview, Israeli officials confiscated his passport and hauled one of his colleagues off to an interrogation room. Men who identified themselves as airport security took our passports, hauled our executive producer into a side room, and then demanded to know what we spoke to Ambassador Huckabee about. It was bizarre. We're now out of the country. Prior to the interview, Carlson posted a photo on X of himself and his business partner, Neil Patel, in front of Ben Gurion Airport on Wednesday with the caption, "Greetings from Israel." Now, I'm not sure, Colin, what that clip is, if you want to scroll up for a minute.
Wait, so he was detained on his way there or on his way back?
No, he was detained there while the interview took place. So this is, yeah.
What do you mean while the interview took place, he was detained?
No, after the interview concluded, they arrested him.
Okay.
He did. You know what? He was probably smart. He specifically, and you know what the argument has been from all of these Zionist scumbags? They don't like the fact that he just came directly to the airport to conduct the interview and didn't actually go into Tel Aviv and Jerusalem to see the sights. Why? Were you planning on doing something to Carlson if he managed to get out there in public? Were you?
So I don't understand what were the charges, or why did they detain him?
Because I wanted to fuck with him. That was the whole purpose. You could play this clip real quick, Colin.
Okay.
All right, I think we got to pull it up as like a regular.
Okay,
clip.
yeah.
That's what he's doing. But again, this is an example of, this is why people don't speak up, because the intimidation factor is very real, and it can also get very violent. And so as a result, there's a reason why people don't necessarily want to take chances when it comes to challenging power. That's why so many
How do you have a rational conversation about what's best for your country without becoming hateful yourself or inspiring hate in other people? We've really thought a lot about this. Don't become what they call you. That's our number one imperative, at least on this show. They call you a hater. Don't become one. So we're trying. So we're doing a couple things. The first is we're flying to Jerusalem to interview Mike Huckabee. Mike Huckabee is, of course, the American ambassador to Israel. Someone I've known for over 30 years and always liked, and also a Baptist preacher of some kind, but certainly a prominent Baptist religious figure, also U.S. ambassador, and someone who has views that I just don't agree with at all on questions of American foreign policy and also on questions of theology. He's a famous Christian Zionist, and a famous proponent of neocon foreign policy. I disagree with both. However, it seems like of all the people you could talk to, maybe Mike Huckabee is a guy you could talk to in a reasonable way, in a calm way, without shouting or hatred. We're flying to
So
Jerusalem.
wait, did he go there to talk to him like Christian to Christian? Was that what his intent was? Like, I'm gonna try to reason. I'm gonna, as a Christian, try to reason with this Christian person.
How do you reason with somebody who preaches, what is it? Is it not Simon? Judea and Samaria. Like, he preaches that stuff.
Right. Yeah. So are we going to see any part of that interview, or are we just watching?
Well, the interview hasn't dropped yet. I mean, he just got arrested.
Right. How long is this clip?
This is done. So
okay.
Is that it, Colin?
I think there's more.
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
So if we can go back to the article real quick.
So he was detained just to screw with him, like they do with everybody, like from Max Blumenthal to whoever else comes traveling. Like they're screwing with everybody who's speaking out against the Zionist state. So, okay, I get it. They messed with him. They've messed with a lot of content creators. They've messed with the doctors and lawyers that are Palestinian and in serving in some way in some capacity.
Let's also keep in mind how absolutely sadistic these people truly are. Too bad Tucker stayed in the airport in the face of so many invitations to see so many wonderful places. A huge and obviously intentional missed opportunity taunted David Friedman, the former U.S. ambassador to Israel during Trump's first term. Two sources familiar with the matter, however, told the Daily Mail that the Israeli government initially did not want to allow Carlson into the country, prompting a delicate negotiation involving the State Department. In the end, the Israeli government decided not to bar Carlson from entering the country in order to avoid a diplomatic incident. No, you did have a diplomatic incident. You decided to arrest his ass. A spokesman for the U.S. Embassy in Israel denied that Carlson was detained. You see, this is the other thing about the Hasbara now. Now they're saying one of two things. Either he was not arrested, or this is standard operating procedure for everybody who comes into Israel. That this is what we do. We put you in a room and we interrogate you. And
right. This is their right. They didn't do it specifically to Tucker Carlson. This is just their standard protocol.
Sure.
Right.
So a spokesperson for the U.S. Embassy in Israel denied that Carlson was detained and claimed he received the same passport control questions that countless visitors to Israel, including Ambassador Huckabee and other diplomats, receive as part of normal entrance and exit from Israel. I would bet my life on that they're lying. They're lying. Not a chance. Now, do I think that people go through screening processes and whatnot when they go there? Sure. Does everybody get hauled into interrogation rooms to question their motives as to why they're in their country? No, because that's what customs is for. And that's the thing that you have to go through in order to be admitted into a country. And that's what's done in the country that you come from. When you leave, you go through it on their end, not when you're entering. You see, this is a little thing you learn about international travel that I learned when I recently went to Ireland. So what they're saying is a bold-faced lie, period. It is not accurate that Israel only was going to let Tucker into the country for the interview. The only engagement the embassy had with Israel about his visit was to coordinate his private plane landing as part of facilitating a seamless visit. It was Tucker who chose to only come into the country for a few hours and depart. And Tucker received the same positive treatment of any visitors to Israel. Carlson accused Huckabee last week on his YouTube show of not ensuring proper protections for Christians in Israel. Huckabee, who has known Carlson for more than 3 decades and previously worked with him at Fox News, responded by inviting him to Israel for a discussion. Israel's popularity remains at an all-time low. Oh, hallelujah.
You skipped that first. You skipped that in between that.
Well, I don't, I could.
I just think that's kind of,
instead of talking about me, why don't you come talk to me? Carlson replied by welcoming the invitation before noting that they were working on setting up the interview. Yeah, well, it's true. Israel's popularity remains at an all-time low in the GOP among young Republican voters and Trump supporters. The Carlson Huckabee event was reported reportedly an attempt by the Trump administration to prevent debates surrounding Israel from breaking from GOP's conservative coalition ahead of the midterms. Well, I got to tell you, this is not going to do the GOP any favors. In fact, this is going to make things exceptionally worse. And I'll pull this up one more time. If you just want to show that photograph, Colin. This is a photo of Trump and his producer. Notice the difference.
I mean, Tucker Carlson and his producer. You said Trump.
Yes. Well, notice anything different between the two men versus one who got dragged into one room versus the other room? I'm just pointing that out. And you can scroll down. I think there may be a little bit more to cover. Trump urged Carlson and others within the GOP to ease off internal fights with Republicans over Israel. Yeah, that's not happening. Everyone's looking for a way to turn down the temperature. President Trump is telling everyone, including Tucker, let's take this down. Yeah, Tucker Carlson does not answer to Donald Trump. Carlson is a longtime ally of Vice President J.D. Vance and speaks with Trump on a range of issues, including foreign policy. Last month, Carlson visited the White House twice and met with Trump in the Oval Office on at least one occasion. Now, again, all of this is well and good, but the issue of Israel is not changing at all, no matter how much you plead with them to do so. And if this is what sinks the GOP into oblivion, much as we hope the Democratic Party ends up in oblivion as well, then so be it. If they have to die on the hill that is the genocidal state of Israel, then so be it. The beautiful thing about somebody like Tucker Carlson is that he has fuck you money and he doesn't have to answer to anybody. And the fact that he has made this a part of his political crusade for whatever purpose that is, I applaud him. And I applaud anybody else like Carrie Perjean-Baller, who apparently we may be able to get on our podcast soon. So we'll see how that unfolds, working on that one. Tucker Carlson is not somebody that I agree with on a whole host of issues, but I can respect the man for doing something that very few people are willing to do, put himself in harm's way. Now, he's probably protected, as you so often have suggested, that he's probably intelligence, and I wouldn't doubt it for a second that he is. But he's using it for good, which is a rare thing. You don't see that too often. What do you think?
I think that there's obviously some reason that he is treated a little bit better, seemingly, than other people that are going after the state, going after Ziohel. I mean, I think it would be silly to not acknowledge that he is able to just sort of like go around and do things, and he seems to be doing okay. So yeah, I mean, that to me indicates there's something or someone that keeps him safe.